So Casey, we're out in our yard right now. We have a load. This is a transport truck called a Super B, and it's just arrived from British Columbia. And this is a load of 5 4x5 cedar that we're going to be milling into some tongue and groove fence boards that we make a lot of. These drivers are amazing. He loaded up on Thursday in BC, and here he is. Solo driver arrived here this morning. Again, we used to get a lot of wood in by rail, but they took the railway out, so we can't do that anymore. To our right, we have some of our Douglas fir timbers. We stock a good variety of Douglas fir from 12 by 12 down to 4 by 6 and up as long as 40 feet long. And then we're entering into our reclaim section of the yard. And we keep probably the largest selection of reclaimed lumber you'd find at a single location in North America. We have a lot of customers that come here from Europe and the States to pick out what they need for their renovation or new building project. We have a truck that is here now just picking up a load that is getting shipped into New York City, and it's hard to find truckers that want to go into New York City because it's so complicated unloading and getting there, but we've got one we're loading up, and that's right. So Casey, we have drying sheds, and we have some behind us that are quite large and big. And we have these 2 little guys here. Back in 1999, we needed space to dry more material, and we built these guys. We had an engineer design them. We're on a plane of clay out here, and for all the people in the construction industry, soil conditions play an important role in how you build things. All of these posts were put on a 4 foot by 4 foot, 12-inch thick footing, and they were 6 feet down. And people don't believe me, but I can assure you, back in the year 2000, this was where my foot is, and it's heaved up that much in 18 years. So it gets higher every year. We have an engineer come, we try and move it. It's still a strong thing because it's got that big footing on the bottom of it. But for all you builders out there, pay attention to your soil conditions, and sometimes engineers get it wrong.
Yeah. I've never seen a heave like that.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So this is a drying shed, and in these sheds at different times of year we put a whole pile of wood on sticks. Air-dried wood is always better than kiln-dried wood. Again, we live in that instant society where everyone wants everything. We have to plan a little bit further ahead. So with air-drying material, you save a lot of energy because nature dries it. So in the spring and the fall of every year, we put a couple of 100,000 feet of cedar on sticks, and in 12 weeks, we can get it from a 25% moisture content down to a 10 or 11% moisture content, which is really nice for cedar. There's less fall down, less checking and splitting in the wood, nicer color to the wood. So it takes a little bit longer, it's more energy efficient, and we end up with a nicer product. So we might not be doing this if interest rates are 20%, but holding the inventory doesn't cost that much, and we end up with a better product.
Yeah, and I guess it's the space that it takes on your property, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to heating and cooling.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So how many, I guess, board feet would be?
So right now we actually just took about 60,000 board feet. In these 3 bays, not including the gray board there, there's about 35,000 board feet. So this thing was absolutely jam-packed, and we just ran about 100,000 feet of 6-inch V-joint cedar.
Okay.
Cleaned it all out, and we'll be running in the next couple of weeks. And then it won't be. We'll start filling up in August, but the best. So April to June is a really good drying time, and September to November is a beautiful drying time.
Yeah, makes sense.
So Casey, we're going to head back to towards the sales office and our store. And it's a building that was designed by a local architect named Doug Dawson and a local engineer named John McIntyre who specialize in wood buildings. And he did a brilliant job of taking wood that came out of some of the old Air Force hangars that were built during the Second World War. We have taken hangars out of Rockcliffe Air Base, Uplands Airport, Trenton, and Downsview. And this is an example of what you can do. We've sold a lot to different builders around North America. The architect had the idea of building a building that looked like trees were holding it up. So there's trees all around the perimeter. Anytime you're in the store and you look out a window, you'll see a tree. And there's a few trees in the store. So just a neat way to repurpose wood. And You'll see all the holes in the Douglas Fir Timbers. Those are anti-shear bolt washers that were put in when they put 3 or 4 of these together to span 60 feet. They would bolt them together.
Okay.
So just a great example of what you can do with reclaimed lumber, and the building is aging gracefully. So this building is 15 years old. However, the wood was first cut about 75 or 80 years ago, and standing and doing a great job for us. We often have students from architectural schools here and in Toronto and Montreal come and look at these posts and look at the pinwheel structure of our beams on the inside of the store. It won an award for wood buildings in Canada when it was first built, and we're proud of it and love it and think the architect did a great job.
Yeah, it definitely stands out when you're driving
Yeah,
down the street.
it's a neat looking building.
Is there any finish on that wood?
No finish at all. If you look up closely at it, all the timbers we sandblasted. You'll see a texture to the wood,
Yeah.
and we left it alone.
And then you expect that to last?
That should last.
Forever.
So wood will last. You'll see gray board on barns. If it can breathe and is built properly, and it's built to last. So we have gray board that's being reused that was cut 200 years ago, and it's still in fine shape. It's weathered, but structurally fine.
Yeah.
And we expect this to last a lot longer, and I'll last.
I love it. Well, Tim, I love what you're doing here and what you've built over the years. You've obviously worked very hard and continue to work very hard. So thanks for taking the time out of your busy day.
You're very welcome.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you, and sorry we started late.
All right, you just finished watching the last episode of our Wood Source series with Tim Priddle. Next week, we're going to have Chris Magwood on, where he gives us a tour of the Endeavour Centre and takes us off-site to a student project where they're using natural products to do a renovation in town. So subscribe if you haven't. It's worth it.